Welcome to the challenge round. Here's the breakdown. The first competitor, standing 5 feet 9 inches, weighing 185 pounds, Frank Zane. And his opponent, standing 5 feet 8 inches, weighing 225 pounds, Mike Mentzer. And we begin with the front relaxed pose. This is, of course, a second chance for both of these guys, and might I add, the last chance for the loser of this match. It's going to be a tough one. I can tell just from this front relaxed pose that Frank Zane and his superior aesthetics are going to have his hands full here with the mass, just sheer mass advantage that Mike Mentzer possesses. Although here in the front relaxed, I am going to lean slightly towards Frank Zane for the victory here in this position. But let's cruise on into the first pose. And you may have already guessed, just by the first glance, that I am leaning slightly towards Mike Mentzer in this one. Definitely goes without saying he is winning in the arm department. In particular, the biceps. Although the triceps are, Zane's got some pretty darn good triceps. But anyway, Mentzer is usually placing below Zane in the ab department. But I really enjoy the vacuum pose. It's pretty close, actually, comparable in the leg department. Although Mike Mentzer's destroying Zane in the calves. Mentzer, incredible set of calves. But anyway, Mentzer takes one, so she's all tied up. Let's cruise on into the next pose. This one here was actually quite difficult for me to choose a winner. Now, there was no doubt in my mind Frank Zane's tricep was definitely victorious over Mike Mentzer's. But I mean, look at the calf difference in the leg size and things of that nature. But I think the overall finish of Frank Zane, he just brings a little bit better of a package. So we're going to lean towards Frank Zane in this one, but we're going to mention that Mike Mentzer looks fantastic, and he's definitely holding his own in the side tricep. Now let's have a look at the front lat spread. I think this is pretty much the only picture out there of Mike Mentzer rather in the front lat spread. Pretty difficult to find that pose. Anyway, looks fantastic in it actually. I don't know why there's not more photos of him hitting this pose. But we're going to lean towards Frank Zane in this one. Just a little bit more detail here. He actually looks fan-freaking-tastic in this pose. Frank Zane is the man here in the front lat spread. But anyway, we're going to lean towards him and award him the point. But at this time, we're going to have these two gentlemen turn around and snap a rear double bicep pose. Wow, is this a close one? This one, I really had to sit down and probably took me 10 minutes to decide. But I decided on Mike Mentzer. I'm sure many of you are thinking, what? Look at the detail in Frank Zane. Yes, I know, I see that detail. He's awful thick back there, too. His traps are winning as well. But I love those low lats of Mike Mentzer. And look at the calves. Although Frank Zane's calves are doing pretty good too. But we're going to lean towards Mike Mentzer in this one. And now at this time, due to lack of rear lat spreads on the part of Mentzer, we're going to have these two gentlemen display a rear standing relaxed pose. Now, this is what I was talking about when I mentioned the thickness of Frank Zane's back. You can really see the detail there. I believe Frank Zane's back actually improved up into the 80s. It just kept on getting better and better the later on in his career. Perhaps his front did not look quite as fantastic and finished as it did in the 70s. But wow, I believe his back got better in the 80s. And look at the calves. His calves got bigger too. And it goes without saying he's taking this. And he's taking this against a very excellent-looking Mike Mentzer. If you look at the lower back there, he's just crisp as far as the conditioning is concerned. But Zane takes this one. Now, at this time, I'll have these two gentlemen turn back around and blast a most muscular pose. These two are definitely the epitome of the term apples and oranges when it comes to judging a winner in this pose. Frank Zane is definitely the more aesthetic guy, probably one of the most aesthetic, most musculars I've ever seen. But no way is he beating Mike Mentzer in this one. If you know me and my judging, you know that I'm voting towards Mike Mentzer in this one. He's a beast. He's a juggernaut. And he's definitely taking the point in this most muscular. Anyway, let's head on into the next pose. I will apologize at the lack of quality in the Frank Zane side chest pose. It's actually the only picture I could find of him hitting this pose. He didn't like to hit it. He used to do this weird one. I don't like it. Anyway, it doesn't match up here to Mike Mentzer's anyway, because Mentzer's taking this. Wow, Mike looks fantastic in this pose. Quite a few years ahead of his time, I believe, in particular in this pose. But anyway, she's all tied up if you're keeping count at home. So I had to do a little bit of a digging and get these men to agree on a pose. And they both agreed on I believe this is called an anchor pose, or somewhat of a victory pose, I believe some other people call it. But anyway, we've had these two men agree on this one, so this is going to be the final and deciding pose. And what a decision this was to make. I'm leaning on the favor of Frank Zane just slightly here. And I will say, if there's people that are disagreeing with me, then part of me definitely agrees with you as well. He has the mass, Mike Mentzer. He has advantages in certain aspects that Frank Zane would never catch up on him. I guess the decision would be just the detail. Frank Zane has such a detail and cuts. But anyway, here's your winner of perhaps one of the most closely contested challenge rounds in the history of the challenge round. Frank Zane. Frank Zane will now await the challenge of another challenge round winner to do battle in the Gladiator round.